and your video is just muted whilst the recording is on, and then hopefully as soon as we've finished the presentation part, then we can all unmute and have this really great conversation, because I think that is at the core what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to encourage programming for our learners and trying to encourage our educators. So we are going to have another Python version, another Python presentation, probably in, this is the March, maybe May, June. Maybe in June we'll have another round of with Python programming. We also thought of introducing Scratch programming just as an introduction, just as to add to our programming collection. But for now, I'm going to hand over. So those are the house rules. I'm just making sure. Casper, have you started the recording?
Yes, I've started recording, and we have a transcript also.
I thought I missed something somewhere, but anyway. All right, so Casper started the recording. Casper is now going to present for you Unit 4, which is about decision making in Python. And Tumelo's in the lobby. He unfortunately hasn't got a microphone, so he will just be monitoring the lobby and then welcoming everybody. And so over to you, Casper, and we look forward to your presentation of Python. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I can see your presentation. There we go.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gous. I hope I understand this Python very, my limited knowledge of it. Okay, so welcome everybody again to today's session. Today we're going to talk about decisions and how we can make a program do multiple decisions in a program with using Python. So today I will be the presenter. Dr. Gous will help us with the lobby, and we also have Tumelo here. Unfortunately, Kabila is not here at the moment, and also Nzani, but I think we can start. So if anybody has any questions, you can please email us at i-set@unisa.ac.za for any queries on the MOOCs or any general questions, please. And we also have the iSet MOOC, and we will have it in the chat area later on. We just skip here to. Okay. So let me just get you to the correct part. I think Dr. Gous is now out of the session.
I'm still here. I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. So just trying to find the correct slide where I'm going to start presenting now. So
you can start from here now. Yeah, just go through it all.
Okay. Oof. All right. So in programming we have variables that we can. Yeah, Dr. Gous, I think you must maybe do this part. Maybe I can only do the programming.
Okay. Yeah, okay, no, that's no problem. We can keep working on this. All right. So thanks, Casper. So when you are doing programming, we kind of started with the numbers, and we started with the data type. So we had strings and we had numbers already. The programming elements are the things that you're going to hear about a lot as we go along. Yesterday also when we did looping as well, there's variables, there's comments that you can put in to generate output. You use the print statement. So you'll notice that there are some keywords, right? And Python's got a number of keywords, and you'll see that print is now a keyword. If, else, if, those are all keywords that you can use when you're programming. Okay. Okay, I can't, there we go, thank you. All right, so thank you, Casper. So what happens is once you've got kind of, you become familiar with all the keywords and the linear stuff, with the literal stuff and the numerics and the strings. Now you've got flow control, okay? And there are only 3 flow controls in programming, okay? So right in the beginning, when on Monday after, was it Monday afternoon? I can't remember. No, it was Tuesday. So Tuesday when we started, we said you do this part and then this part and then this part and then this part. So that's all one step at a time. Okay. But now what we introduced yesterday was that you can do repetition. So we have a looping structure. Okay. So you do it until, or you for so many times, or you do it while it is true, and we have those 2 structures there. Right. So what we're going to end off with today is to say, but we can do decisions. And so decisions allows you in your code to decide which piece of code you're going to execute. It's kind of, if you stop at a stop, if you come to a stop street, you stop. If it's not a stop street, you don't stop. Okay, so there's a decision. You will decide what to do based on a value. And so we call those decisions. Okay, Casper, thank you. This is not teamwork here. There we go. All right, so again, we're back in the Anaconda environment and the Jupyter Notebook page. Okay, next one. Okay, and then there we go. That's it, right. Okay, so if we have decisions, when we have a decisions in your code, you have an if and then something else and then something else. Okay, and the else part of your decision is usually optional. Okay, you don't need to put an else part in. You'll see as we structure our decisions, you'll see some parts just don't get executed. All right, so usually a block of code in the if part and a block of code in the else part. And the block of code implies, or usually consists of multiple lines of code, but every one of those lines then can be executed. Okay, next one. Okay, so this is the structure, and I think it was on Tuesday afternoon session when they said, but can we indent things? And so here's the really cool thing about Python is that it indents itself. So it's like, it keeps it nice and neat. If there's one thing that I love is neat, readable code. So you can see the if part, and then it's got some logical expression or something, which is either true or false. If it is true, then the first set of statements happen. If it is false, then it goes to the else part. All right, so there's a true part and a false part, and depending on the value of your logic expression, whether it's true or false, it depends which group of statements it's going to execute. Okay, it'll become all clearer once Casper and I start showing you examples. Okay, here we go. All right, so here we read, just read the code. It says my age, you enter a number. Okay, so what is your age? And so some of you will enter 19 and some of you will enter 55, but whatever you enter. So let's say you enter a value of 19. Okay, so if the value of my age, which is 19, is larger than 21, which is false, then you're going to go to the else part and say, and it'll print, you are not an adult. Okay, if however you have input value of 40, okay, then your my age is greater than 21, so then that part is true because 40 is greater than 21, so then it'll print you are an adult. So that is where your coding executes depending on the value of your input variable, in this case my age. Okay, Casper, next example. Okay, so now sometimes you have multiple logical expressions, okay, where you really can't decide. You can go to the next page, there's a nice example there. All right, so if something, then you do that. Otherwise, if it's not that true, then the next one's true. And you can use these LF statements, you can use multiple of them. All right, so if it's red, you say red. If it's green, you say green. If it's blue, you say blue. If it's black, it's black. Otherwise, you say all the colors. Okay, do you understand? So you have multiple options. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. My age, input your age. Okay, so now it says, if your age is bigger than 21, then you're an adult. Else if your age is greater than 13 and less than 21, then you must be a teenager. Otherwise, you are not an adult. Okay, so there you see we've now broken down your decision to have more, we have more detail and makes a richer decision because you used your input values and you can have a better output. All right, next example. Okay, so now there's a thing called logical operators, and logical operators is and, or, and not. And I think the important part of this is not only are these three words keywords, but they are also, I think it was in grade 4, grade 5, you started doing sets and intersections of sets and ors. So your and is the intersection of two, and that is always for a range. So it must be greater than 5 and it must be less than 10. So those are the numbers 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. If it's greater than 5 or less than 10, well, then it can go either way. Okay. And then not is the negative of that. All right. So let's have a look here. So you have two input values, my age and my coffee. So what is your age and do you drink coffee, yes or no? So if the top one says, if my coffee, an uppercase, whether it's yes or no, is capital Y, then you drink coffee is true. Otherwise, drink coffee is false. Okay. Now you use that value to go into another set of decisions. So if drink coffee, so if it's true, and your age is greater than 21, then you're an adult coffee drinker. But if you drink coffee and your age is not greater than 21, then it's a non-adult coffee drinker. Do you understand? So now we are going to two levels. And every time that Python introduces another level of decisions, you can see it indents itself, which keeps it nice and neat and tidy. Okay, next one. Okay, so Eric actually picked it up yesterday to say that I've got lists, and indeed this is a list. It's a data structure. In this case, my list is a data structure of a list of 5 animal names. They are strings, but there are 5 animal names. So what we did last time was to say we did a repetition. So for my pet in my list, we just printed it. Okay, but now we say, going down that list, cat, dog, lion, zebra, panda. Okay, so we're going to go through each animal in the list and say, if the value of my pet is equal to cat or it is equal to dog, then we know that pets live here. Right, so if we pick up anywhere in the list that there's a cat value or a dog value, then we know that pets live here. Okay. Now, that is, again, we've used the looping from yesterday and we've got a decision inside. Okay, but now we can extend that. Can you see that the if statement under my pet has got 3 print statements? Okay, so now again we loop and say for my pet in my list, so we're going to do it 5 times. That was the looping we introduced yesterday. Okay, if my pet equals cat or my pet equals dog, then we say pets live here. And then you take the value of whatever my pet is, you put it all into uppercase and say, this is the pet. Okay. I think this is where we need to do some practical stuff. Okay. Okay, so
I can go to the programming space, Dr. Gous.
Have you got the Jupyter Notebook page open?
Yes, let me just move the pages.
That would help. That would help, yes.
Okay. Can you see Dr. Gous?
Excellent. All right, perfect. All right, thank you very much. Okay, let's go all the way down. There we go. So those last 2 examples, we've got lists of people's names, okay? And then you've got to see whether your name is on the list. So if you were to run code block number 10, run that code. Okay, so what is my name? My name is Jan.
Okay.
Okay, enter it. Sorry, your name does not appear on the list. Okay, we need to maybe clear the outputs. Can you clear the outputs quickly?
Okay, I think I know what is happening here with this program.
Yeah.
It is, okay, I know what happened there. It's because there's an E.
Okay, yeah.
That's interesting.
You have to clear the go to the right to the top of your Jupyter Notebook page.
Okay.
And clear the kernel.
Okay,
yeah, kernel pages you need to clear.
So this one, sorry.
Yeah, it looks different to what my kernel looks like, but anyway, let's try. Yes, restart.
Okay, I think it is start now. Let's try this again.
Okay, all right, now run it again.
Okay, let's see.
Strange. That's very odd.
There's something else I can do, Dr. Gous.
Okay, go for it.
Let me do this, copy. This is now let's see if this works now. Stop share.
Okay, now we disappear.
Okay. Okay, let me do it like this. Okay, this one is another version of Python.
Okay.
This is the one I learned how to program.
Okay.
So let's run this code and see what happens. Okay.
Okay, so what is your name? Jan? Jane? No.
It is welcome to another class in a meeting. The session shall start shortly. So it means if you're not in my class, so it did go to the else statement.
Okay, so now if you run it again and put in Jane with a capital J, it's not going to pick it up.
Okay, let's run it.
Yes, that's what I wanted to show. All right, so what we're showing here now is that it's got to match exactly. All right, and so if you're going to run this program, I would highly recommend, okay, that you start each word with a capital letter, but when you test it, you must make sure that the cases of what your input is the same as the case of so whether it's uppercase and lowercase as the words in your thing. Otherwise, you must make them all small letters. If you keep the names in your list all small letters, then you also need to let the input be small letters. All right. Okay. I wonder whether we can go up to right to the top of the examples and just work through them.
Okay.
Okay. So let's run that one.
Okay. Let's do this.
Okay. So my age. What?
Oh, so it says that it must be a string for some reason.
It's weird.
So, but I think it still works. Let's see. Let's put in a funny number. Nope.
No.
Okay. Otherwise, Doctor, I'll just do it like. Okay. Minimize that one. Okay. Which number, Dr. Gous?
Give us age of 40. And you're an adult. Hallelujah for that. Okay. So then you can see which it will not execute both print statements. It's only going to execute one depending on the truth of your condition at the top. Okay. So you control your decision with a value that you're going to input, and that value of that you're going to input is currently in a variable called my age. Okay. If you were to enter a value that is less than 21, or if you were to enter a value that is 21, put 21 in, and 21 is you're not an adult. There we go. Okay. If you want to change if you want 21 to be seen as an adult, then you have to change your code. And then in your code, you've got to say equal. Yeah, that must be equal sign there as well. It's greater than or equal to. Now, if you run it. Okay. Now, if you run it. You put 21 in, you're an adult. So you've changed the code so that you get a better decision. All right.
I have an interesting question, Dr. Gous.
Yes.
What happens if you make it a negative number?
Try it.
Let's see. If we say, let's say.
Yeah. Okay. You're not an adult. No, you're not born yet if you're minus 21.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah. So the whole and I have uploaded all the Jupyter Notebook pages onto they're temporarily on the M1 MOOC portal under syllabus. You're more than welcome to download them. But what I do want to encourage you to do is to work through the examples. If you think of other examples, please share them with us. What we want to do is create a repository of examples that we can use in the teaching and learning of really basic Python. We would love to also move on with this so we get to a next level of Python programming. But we obviously need to have a core in the community of learners that are busy doing Python and are learning Python. Just also, you will notice that there is a lot of Python tutorials. There's a lot of Python teaching things There's a lot of really great Python books. I've got one book here with me called A Crash Course in Python Programming, which is really fun. I also have another book that I'm busy working through. It's called Explaining Maths with Python, and that I want to actually present as another workshop series, maybe in June or July. No, not July, probably be June then. Yes, as an alternative, but just something else to do, where you have the application of using programming to go one step further in science engagement. All right. So Casper and I have been doing a lot of talking. Let's hear from anybody who wants to raise your hands or give comments or make suggestions. How much learning have you done?
Yes, Eric.
Hi guys. Thank you. I've got those examples and I've been working through them. One of my comments, I'm just looking at your variable names. And the thing with Python, the main advantage is in its kind of readability. And a variable name should be all lowercase with underscores. In Python, then you've got classes, and they've got to be with uppercase letter and camel case. So that this looks a little bit confusing. So I would say, you know, one's actually got to teach the right way of doing stuff. Because in the real world, that's the code you're going to see. Does that make sense?
So the variable names are just to
I can't see anything. Maybe Casper can bring one of them in front and just see where you've got like my age.
Okay, I'll share now.
So see there, you've got like my age. That should
Yeah.
be all lowercase, and to separate words, you've got to use underscores. In Python, you've got a class which starts with an uppercase letter, and it's all camel case. So your functions are also all lowercase, separated by underscores.
So Eric, you're saying we must not put
So if
my
you take,
age?
well, my age is fine, but anyway, just make it all lowercase and just put an underscore between my and age.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I understand.
Yeah.
So you want us to go like this, correct?
Yes. So that would be proper Python kind of structure, you know. And of course, in Python, well, with all programming languages, they've all got their different syntaxes, and so Python's quite different. But the thing with Python is its readability. You're making it really obvious that you're making this variable called my age.
Just one small thing: when you learn how to program, you learn how to use the copy and paste button quickly when you have to do multiple of them at once.
Yeah.
You've got one my age that hasn't done, Casper.
Oh yeah, this one. Yep.
Okay.
And they said that the difference between calling a function, you've got to use a verb, which is kind of the action. And
yes.
In a variable, will just kind of be a noun, like the thing, you know.
Yes, correct. Correct.
And what I've enjoyed about Jupyter Notebook is that, in fact, it's here. It's a pity it didn't work now, but you get immediate results, and you can see them, and you don't have to go to new screens and things.
For example, like I just did with
yeah.
Casper, if you can just reset your kernel and remove all outputs, you'll be able to do it.
Okay, because restart the kernels or restart. Let's try this again.
Yeah, restart.
Okay, let's see what happens now after we changed my age. That's interesting. It gives me, okay.
Why is that an error?
It says it must be a string for some reason.
That's weird.
Casper, just have a look there where you have your text. Shouldn't that be double colon? What is that things? Aanhalingstekens.
Oh yeah, let's see. You mean like this? Quotation marks.
That doesn't matter.
Quotation marks.
You can use single or double.
Yeah, it doesn't matter in Python, but it matters in C++,
PHP.
definitely.
PHP also.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters in Python.
Let's see.
Is it not maybe that there's a space between my age and int?
No, let's see.
No, it won't be that either.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Run that.
Okay, let me just try again. Okay, run it. Okay, let me just put in the result. 55. Now let's restart. Yeah, this was what I usually had the same problem when I started with Python coding in the very beginning.
But where is it complaining about something? Alexander, you also have your hand up?
It gives me what the string looks like.
Let me just have a look. I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah, because yeah, this is now the yeah. Otherwise, Dr. Gers, I have something that we can test it again. Let me just get here.
Yeah.
I just copied it. Let's run it again. We'll see what happens now. Okay. Age. You are an adult. This is now this one, yeah?
Okay. But I don't see why Jupyter Notebook gives you an error each time.
Yeah, I don't know what.
It's very strange.
Well, maybe you can. Yeah, trust me. Sometimes in the beginning, Python does that a lot. Trust me.
Okay, but if you're in Jupyter Notebook, are you online Jupyter Notebook?
Yes.
I don't think it's Python at all. I think it's this Jupyter Notebook that's causing the errors, because you saw it was working fine in your idle.
Yes.
I don't have any of those issues in Jupyter Notebook. Okay, we'll rerun them again.
Okay. And oh yeah, we haven't yet gotten to this one here.
Okay.
So let's see what happens when we run this one. It is correct. So maybe let's see what happens if I add.
Okay.
It still runs. Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Let's maybe make it interesting.
You should be able to clear all the outputs. If you go up to the top, you should be able to clear all outputs. I'm going to really started up my Jupyter Notebook quickly.
Okay.
Strange.
So that goes. Maybe
Yeah.
I just edited something in this one and it's not running for some reason.
Casper, just go to the very top of your page. I agree with Dr. Gers that my version also looks very different to how I can refresh it. But it's at the very top of the page. It's above those icon bar.
Yeah, because I've been pressing this.
But scroll to the very top.
Yeah. It is okay.
Okay, so anyway, I just was curious if you were seeing other things. Okay.
Okay. Just going to start.
You're running this in Chromium.
No, Microsoft Edge.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a new Chromium browser, but have you tried running it in Chrome?
No, not yet.
Okay, can I share my screen quickly?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, hang on a minute. If I can find you, where I hear these voices, I just can't see you. Hang on a minute. Okay, so if I share my screen, Here we go. I have an option at the top here. There, it says kernel, and then it says clear all output. And then I just clear all output. So if I run this one, and I say your age is 23, then you're an adult. Yeah. Okay. I think it's important just to kind of just summarize. I see. So if you are making a decision, you either use an if statement, and your if statement can either be a single level, so you can either just use that kind of level, or if you want kind of an else part to it, you can do a two-way else part to it. Then you've got a true and a false. But this is where you've got a true. If that's true, then you do it. If that's true, is that. But there must always be an else part. So you must be able, any decision that you make or that you program in programming, you must have a else part. So there must always be some form of decision to make it a complete decision. Okay. Okay. And yeah, I can run this one again as well. And say, so if my name is James, oopsie, yeah, if my name is James, I can't even spell James, then you're not on the list, okay? If you take this and you run it again, and your name is Sarah, okay, then your name does not appear on the list. You run it again, and you take the name Henry, and bingo, the name is on the list, okay? Notice that this has a not in the first part, so the true becomes false and the false becomes true. It's a bit of another way of doing it. So you really need to read, normally the if part, the first if part, that is true, and then that happens. So you really need to read your statement when you program with decisions to make sure that you execute what you want executed. All right. And that is if. That is your decisions, if. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to just pause a minute. Are there any questions? Is anybody overwhelmed with the programming of questions? Has anybody tried the examples? I'm hoping that everybody in the I know that Eric has started the examples. Alexander, did you start some examples?
No, not yet, Dr. Gous. I've got something else that I think that Python has something that, or actually PHP has something that Python doesn't have. And it's sort of a switch. Yeah, it's a sort of a switch decision, but it looks like that my list thing comes close to it.
Okay. We can compare notes. Bonga, you've got your hand up?
Yes, I'd like to, I tried doing the decision thing. Yes, on my Jupyter, it didn't work out properly because I used the same example but with different names. So can I see it on your side? Because maybe I didn't copy it out correctly this side.
Okay. Do you want to share your screen with us? Show us what your computer screen looks like, or do you want to just take a screenshot and email it to me?
Okay, I can share it, but it's gonna take a minute.
Okay.
Let me, there it is. Because I'm using my phone for MS Teams, and then I'm working on my laptop.
Okay, maybe it's gonna be too complex, hey? Sure.
No, I think I'm done now. Yeah, I just have to write my name, and then I'll show you.
Okay. All right. I think the idea with programming is to try all examples and and I think that's what the time-consuming part of programming is, that you've got to actually sit and try and work it out. And once you understand one thing, it leads to another and to another. So we've already done strings, and we've done numbers. And so numbers, we've done integers and floats, and then we've done all the methods associated with that. And we have done, yesterday we did the looping, the for and the while. If you know the number of loops, it's called a for.
How do you share Screen. I don't know.
Bongo, are you on Teams?
Yes, I'm on Teams.
Okay, so there in the, if you kind of towards the middle lower page, if you kind of move your cursor, you'll see a little up arrow.
Oh,
In
oh,
like,
I see. Yes, I see now. I see now.
okay.
Thank you. Window Chrome. Yes, can you see how I did it? Like I use a different example.
There we go. Okay. All right, so those are your names there. Okay, so you haven't got, by my pirate, you haven't got input.
Oh, I suppose right. Okay, I didn't put that in. Will it make it run?
And you're also
Right,
missing the indents for the prints.
Yeah.
And
3
you're missing
spaces.
odd colons at the end of the sentence of if and else.
There you go.
Like this?
Yeah, that's
No,
a soft
colon.
colon. So that's a hard
The
colon. It
colon,
must be
2
a
dots.
hard.
Okay, no, 2 dots.
Oh, the 2 dots. Okay.
Yeah, and the next one up. There you go. Okay, now run it. Ha!
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Oh, this is like a collaborative team effort here. Well done, team. Bonga, that's just, you just ask for help and it just happens, eh?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well done. Well done. Bonga, are you teaching some learners?
No, I'm actually, because I know like front end development because I studied it last year. So this year they say I must work on back end. So because I already know a bit of Java and I tried my SQL and then I got confused. So they said I must start doing at least Python or something like that, so I can I can adapt further on.
Okay. So what we're going to do, we've almost got a Python portal, a MOOC portal, which we're going to develop, and we'll put we will get contributions from the community, and we'll put up some examples there as well, and we'll maybe have discussions on see who can solve the problems. All right. I think it's also important that we keep testing ourselves, keep trying examples, see whether we can do them, and just kind of push the limits and see how far we can get with this Python programming. But not to forget that we need to we have to have a way of introducing Python to our learners slowly but surely. And so it'll be really fun to have a bunch of learners learning Python. What we've just realized over the years, especially because we have a diverse student base for teaching Python at university, is that to get students to install Python, and then as what Casper was showing, we've got to go from one screen to the next. That just adds a level of complexity, which for our students is just sometimes too overwhelming, which is why we've chosen Jupyter Notebook as the learning environment, because it adds that immediate feedback, and you can also practice. And Bongo, we solved your problem in 3 easy steps in half a second, and there we go. Yeah, which is really great for the learning. All right. Anybody else got any burning programming problems? No? All right. Then we're going to have a long tea break. We're going to have a long tea break. We've got like 15 minutes to have a tea break. We can go get some tea, and then we'll be back and we will be discussing then the last 2 sessions of M3 of strategy and how to present a robotics presentation. Okay. So we're going to leave it at that. Thank you, Casper. Thank you for stepping in a moment of crisis. I don't see Tumelo. I think Tumelo has left already. Tumelo is sitting in the library somewhere, trying to connect. But thank you to everybody who's been here, and really thank you for your conversation. I think we will carry on with this Python, even we just meet as a teaching group, and then work through some examples. Maybe we'll get some great learning out of that through engagement. Okay, but thank you everybody, and we'll see you at 4 o'clock then. Thank you. And Casper, you just have to stop the recording. Thank you.